As the first golden light of dawn spilled over the horizon, it painted the sprawling city in hues of orange and rose. Below, the metropolis was a labyrinth of steel and glass, just beginning to stir with the familiar symphony of morning traffic and distant sirens. High above it all, in a world of quiet rooftops and whispering wind, lived a crow named Kuro. But Kuro was no ordinary crow. While others foraged for scraps, he was a collector, a connoisseur of light itself. He was utterly captivated by shiny things. From his perch atop the old clock tower, he would watch the sun's rays catch on countless forgotten objects below. With a decisive caw, he would launch into the crisp morning air, hunting for anything that sparkled: lost coins, a forgotten earring, shimmering bits of foil, even discarded bottle caps. To him, they were not junk, they were treasures, his own personal collection of fallen stars. Deep inside a crack of the clock tower wall, Kuro had built a nest that shimmered like a galaxy. Each day he added something new, something that reflected the light, something that made him proud. People in the neighborhood called him the Thief of Glimmers. But to Kuro, it was just a game. One sunny afternoon, something caught Kuro's eye. It wasn't a coin or a button. It was a small silver key, shining brighter than anything he'd ever seen. Without thinking, Kuro swooped down, grabbed it in his beak, and flew off. The key dangled and twinkled in the light. Kuro had never been happier. He tucked it deep inside his nest and went to sleep, dreaming of stars. But far below, in a nearby hospital, a small child named Rafi struggled to breathe. Rafi had asthma, and the night before, the key to his oxygen tank valve had gone missing. No one could find it. Nurses searched every drawer, every shelf. Without that key, the tank couldn't be opened, and Rafi's oxygen was running out. Time was slipping away. As the city woke up, a symphony of familiar sounds rose to meet the sun. But this morning, a new discordant note pierced the air. From his high perch, Kuro noticed something strange, a frantic energy that didn't belong to the usual morning rush. Far below, near the city hospital, red and blue lights pulsed against the pale brick. He could see the chaos unfolding, people running, their shouts lost to the wind, a palpable sense of panic radiating outwards. Drawn by a curiosity he couldn't explain, he launched into the air and flew closer. And there, amidst the turmoil, he saw a woman crying, her face a mask of desperation. It was Rafi's mother, her voice breaking as she begged the staff for help. Kuro landed on a nearby sign, tilting his head. He didn't understand her words, but he understood her pain. Something inside him, a feeling he'd never known before, began to stir. He flew back to his nest, the woman's sorrow echoing in his mind. And as he landed, his eyes fell on the shiny silver key, now catching the morning sun like a fallen star. For the first time in his life, Kuro hesitated. He didn't understand why, but he knew the key belonged somewhere important. As the morning sun rose higher, Kuro picked up the key and took off again, wings slicing through the golden light. Down he swooped, across the busy road, over the hospital fence, and landed right on the hospital window ledge. Inside, the air was thick with a quiet, desperate tension. A nurse, weary from the long watch, glanced toward the window, perhaps seeking a moment of solace. She froze. There, sitting calmly on the ledge, was a crow. It met her gaze with an unnerving intelligence, holding a small silver key in its beak. It was impossible, yet it was happening. Moving as if in a dream, she opened the window, her heart pounding with a fragile, unbelievable hope. The crow, whom the city would come to know as Kuro, didn't flinch. He simply leaned forward, dropped the key gently into her outstretched hand, and then, without a sound, launched into the sky and vanished. Moments later, the key found its purpose. With a sharp click, it unlocked the reserve oxygen tank. A life-giving hiss filled the silence as air flowed through the valve. In the bed, Rafi's small chest, which had struggled so hard, began to rise and fall with a steady, peaceful rhythm. He was breathing again. A wave of overwhelming relief washed over the room, breaking the tension into quiet, grateful tears. It was a miracle delivered on the wings of a bird. By the time anyone ran outside, the crow was gone. Only a few feathers fluttered in the breeze. No one ever found out where he came from, or why he brought the key. But the nurses started leaving small bowls of water and shiny coins by the hospital garden. And sometimes, in the mornings, one coin would be gone. Kuro kept collecting stars, but now he seemed to choose them carefully. He wasn't just a thief anymore. He was the crow who stole the stars and gave one back to save a life. He didn't mean to be a hero, but he became one.